So one thing that is annoying about the box model is that the element's width in terms of how it interacts with the web page and the element's height in terms of how it interacts with the web page is determined by the height and width, obviously, but also the border and the padding. So if you've got this H1 element right here with a height of 200 pixels, a border of 1 pixel, and a padding of 10 pixels, its true height and how it interacts with the page is 200 plus 20 plus 2. So it's actually 222 pixels tall. So that can be rather annoying in trying to calculate exactly how big you want that stuff to be. So we need to learn how to figure out how to use a different technique that avoids this issue. So let's take a look. So we can use content box, which basically starts at the outside of the border and it works its way in, rather than starting at the element and working its way out. So we've got the default font weight. The text is normal, but in the same, if you have box model of browsers, assuming the box sizing property controls the type of the box model of the browser, the problem is contact box, meaning the same box model is affected by border thickness and padding. So let's take a look. So border box means that it's starting at the border, and content box means it's starting at the padding. All right, I have misunderstood. My apologies. So we can reset the entire box model and specify a new one starting at the border box. So let's take a look at how to use this. Okay, so change the box model for all elements on the web page to the new box model. Okay, so instead of utilizing the default box model, we're going to change it to being a border box, meaning it's going to start at the border instead of the real the height and width. So box sizing border box. All right, run. Okay, let's see what that does. What did that do? So if I comment that out, notice how everything is like all tall, but if I uncomment that, it's now different. I don't really know exactly what changed, but I'm very curious. I'm going to go back and see if I explain that properly. Okay, so default value is content box, meaning the content is the outside. But in border box, the border is the outside. The example above, remain 200 pixels, and I think the border goes in. I think that's what's happening. I think this is confusing. Height of the box would remain at 150 pixels and the width at 200. Oh yeah. The thickness and padding would remain inside of the box instead of on the outside of the box. Okay, this is working how I expected. So I already did that. So now in this situation, border and padding go on the inside rather than on the outside. Yeah. Okay. So now let's change the... Okay, that was a really small thing. I wanted to play with that more. That's really annoying. This doesn't give us a full understanding. Like, how does it go on the inside? Is it width and height are the border? I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'm gonna play with it just a second. So I'm gonna add an element on. Actually, I'm not going to add an element. I'm going to put that. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna work with this reset game. I'm gonna set it ID equals reset. Okay, so now this ID reset box sizing border box. Okay, I'm going to run this. Doesn't change anything. Awesome. So now I'm going to uncomment that, or I'm going to comment that out, and I'm going to say max width is 100 pixels. Or no, I'm just going to say width is 100 pixels. Run. So now that's a little. I'm going to make it a little bit wider, 150 pixels. Great. But when I do this, what happens? Okay, yeah, This is, yeah, so the padding on this, I'm pretty sure, is like 20 pixels. So I'm going to say padding 20 pixels. Whoops, that's supposed to be a colon. Border dashed blue 2 pixels. And then I'll say what is it? Oh, margin doesn't matter in this case. So now we can look at this. We've got blue padding, okay, and I do border box. We got blue dashed, but that's interesting. If I get rid of that, run. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what is creating that padding and all of that stuff. So when it says border box, I think the width of the element is 150 pixels. So without this, run, we've got 150 pixels, and then it goes 20 pixels. And then with this, it goes 150 pixels, and then it goes in by 20 pixels, and in by 2 pixels for the dashed. Yeah, I'm like 98% sure that's what's happening. So, changing the box model in order to make it a little bit more convenient for you to understand how elements interact with the rest of the page.